Hi loves, welcome back to another video. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. As you guys can see from the title, today we're going to be talking all about hair growth and more importantly, my hair growth journey and what did I do to get my hair to this point from this point. This is probably one of my most asked questions. I know I say this a lot when I'm talking about this is the most asked this, the most asked this, but you guys are always asking me about how I was able to grow my hair so quickly and so long. If you guys have been following me from the beginning, you guys know I did do a big chop in 2019 and my hair was very short, as you guys can see from the photo next to me. It was very short and I feel that a lot of people are just shocked with how much my hair has grown. I'm not gonna lie, I've personally been super shocked with the amount of growth I've had over the years. So I am going to share with you guys a few tips and what I did to get to this point. I'm not going to ramble too much in this video, so if you guys are interested in seeing that, keep on watching. Okay guys, so I actually wrote down some notes and I completely don't know where I put them. So I'm gonna hope that I remember everything that I want to say. I did jot some things down on my phone just as like a refresher, but I think we should be okay for this video. Fingers crossed. But first things first, I'm gonna share with you guys a little background story on me. If you guys just started following me, I wanna give you guys a little story. So I started my Instagram journey, and I started YouTube like later, but I started my Instagram journey of blogging and sharing my content back in 2018. And when I did start my natural hair journey and started documenting it, I did have heat damage. And for those of you who don't know, I went natural starting in like 2016, 2015. I am like so mistaken on the dates. I don't know exactly when the date was, but I want to say I started like back in 2015, 2016. And I was doing really well, but my sister actually got married around that time and I wasn't in a space where I was comfortable with my hair enough to just leave it natural. So I decided to get my hair done, get a full blowout. This is me not blowing out my hair for a little over 8 months, and you can definitely tell my curls were looking a lot better. So I decided to get a blowout. I did the curls too, like I used the, what do you call that? Curling, not the curling wand, it was like a curling iron. And I'm like, all right, well, I haven't used heat in a while, it shouldn't be a problem. I did not realize that it was possible to get heat damage in just the middle of your hair and nowhere else. So my roots curled nicely, my ends curled nicely, but the middle was like pin straight. It was so crazy. And of course, my front pieces were like pin straight. I was like, wow, this is literally over one use. I used 8-9 months of consistent, no heat, deep conditioning, just good regimented routine and just wasted it because I just used heat once and it just wasn't my thing. So fast forward to me trying to get my curls back again. So 2018, September of 2018, my curls started to look a little better, but I still had the heat damage in those areas. And a lot of people would message me and ask me in my town, girl, what are you doing to get your curls back? Like, your curls are looking so good. I mean, compared to how they used to look, like versus what they looked like then, I mean, they looked pretty drastic. So a lot of people were asking me, and I was tired of like repeating myself. I was happy with sharing, but I was like repeating the same exact thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna create a resource where people can go to and they could just refer to that when they have any questions about whatever I do to my hair. And then again, one thing led to another and yada yada, and then I just became me, who I am now. So I'm this curly influencer who shares all the tea on how to care for your hair and how to embrace your natural hair and love your natural hair as it is. What is the point of what I just said? So when it comes to being on social media, as everyone knows, the more followers you get, the more opinions you get. So the reason I did a massive chop back in 2019 was because I had people commenting saying like, your hair is damaged. What do you think makes you qualified to share this information online? And at the end of the day, they weren't wrong. Like, why was I out here telling you guys what to do if I was doing the complete opposite? You know what I mean? And I needed that. I needed that moment of like, wow, they're not wrong. So fast forward to 2019, I was normally scheduled for cuts like every 6 to 8 months. So this was probably my third cut into my, no, this is my third cut, yeah. So this is my third cut into my natural hair journey. I was currently doing my haircuts with Ona at the time. This is still at 5 Salon and Spa. So I was going to her for my first cut, my second, this is my third cut. So she already knew that I am like very attached to my hair. I've had long hair my entire life, so having damage was a wake-up call for me. Like, for those of you who have had long hair your whole life and then you do something crazy and your hair just starts to fall out, that is such a like moment for you. And I really wish I wasn't so attached to my hair. I had this attachment, and I still do have an attachment to my hair, which I'm learning to slowly let go of more. Doesn't mean don't care for your hair. Of course I'm gonna care for my hair, like this is my hair. But I'm learning how to not be so attached to my hair, and I think that has to do with a lot. It's like deeply ingrained in me culturally. So, I mean, that's a topic for another day, but I'm learning every day how to be less and less attached to my hair in that aspect. So I did a big chop. I went in just for my routine, just like trim. We're gonna slowly cut off the heat damage, but I went in and got a full big chop. From that day, I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel like my life changed completely. Like my life made a full 360. I felt like for once, my hair didn't define me, and I was learning to love my hair once again. And that feeling that people talk about you just feel free, you feel light, you feel brand new, that is real. Like, that is a real feeling. It's something that I've always wanted, but I was always too scared to do. So I was like, you know what? If I just cut it, then I won't have a choice. Like, there's nothing, I can't go back to it. So I just took that leap of faith and cut my hair, and it was the best decision I ever made. I know you're here for hair growth, but I felt like I need to share that background story for those of you who are new to my channel and don't know about that. As you guys saw, I cut my hair super short, but if you guys have been following me throughout my journey, my hair since that chop has been growing like a weed. I literally swear my hair has been growing like literally like weeds. You cut it one day and it grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And I realized the only reason why my hair wasn't growing back then as much was because I was holding on to so much dead weight. Like, my hair was dead. That bottom middle part was dead. It was dead. It was doing nothing but holding me back. So I also wasn't following the proper hair care methods. I was still going by what everyone was recommending and all of that. I didn't really form my own opinion myself. Tip number one on growing healthy, long, curly hair is get rid of the damage. Get rid of the damage as soon as you can and in your time. So get rid of it as soon as you can, but in your time. I think when it comes to your journey, it has to be your journey. You can't just listen to John and Lola and me, and these are random people I just created, but you don't have to listen to them. You do what's best for you when you're ready. And in those moments back then, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, but I wish I was. I was not ready, but if I could go back in time, I would go back and cut my hair a lot sooner, because the way my life shifted and the way my life changed, and I really truly believe hair is energy. I heard this saying that hair is energy, and sometimes we hold trauma in our hair. You don't even realize you're holding. And I know that that damage right there was some type of trauma from as a child, where I felt like I had to straighten my hair to look pretty. Like, I had to straighten my hair. Why didn't I use my hair natural for my sister's wedding? Because these pictures are permanent and I didn't want to be seen permanently with curls. And that is trauma. Like, that was what was ingrained in my hair. And I didn't want to continue to move forward that way, because that's not how I genuinely felt. I did in that moment, but what I was looking to feel was not that. So I knew that in order to feel that, I needed to get rid of that. You know, I needed to get rid of that belief that I had back then. So my biggest piece of advice is that if you do have heat damage and it's just there, it's just holding you back, and you know that your curl could thrive because you have like nice curly roots coming in, certain parts of your hair are super curly, I will say that throughout my natural hair journey, I had this one little resilient curl. It's this little guy right here. I will never forget this guy. It's like in the front. It might not be this exact piece, but it was like this one little piece right here that no matter how much heat I put in my hair, this little curl always curled to perfection. And it always gave me that hope that I needed, where I was like, damn, like my whole head could look like that. And I mean, now it does, but at the time it's all I needed. Like, you gotta find hope where you can get it, okay? My biggest suggestion is always don't hold on to heat damage if you don't have to. it's just gonna hold you back. It's literally, you cannot recover from heat damage. The only way to recover from heat damage is getting rid of it and letting your hair just flourish and grow into what it's supposed to look like. Because heat damage is not what your natural curl pattern looks like. And that theory where if you cut your hair more, it grows quicker, that's not true. You don't have to cut your hair for it to grow. What you do have to do is make sure that you're on top of your split ends, because for me, my hair tends to, look at how my hair grows, right? The back of my hair grows very quickly, so I end up getting like a weird V. You can't see from the front, but you see these random little pieces that are a little longer than the rest of my hair. That's what tends to happen when my hair is looking to get a little haircut, because it just starts to look like a little like flap, and it's just not cute. So for me, I have to be on top of that, because then my ends start to split, and then my ends start to get super thin, and you can start seeing the back of my head, and it's just not thick anymore. So if you want that fullness, you have to make sure you keep up with your trims in order to grow full curly hair. Another piece of advice is focus on scalp health. Your scalp health is gonna be the key to healthy hair growth. Like, it's common sense, you would think, but that's not the first thing we think of when it comes to hair growth, even though we know hair grows from our scalp. That was not my first, I didn't go to that. That was just like, oh, that makes sense. So what I like to do is, I am never gonna tell you you have to sit upside down and do oil massages. Like, no. I do oil massages from time to time, but not as often as I should. What I do like to use is stimulating oils on my scalp. So that's why I typically gravitate towards products that have like peppermint, eucalyptus, lavender oil. These are very scalp stimulating oils that will help with hair growth, because it's stimulating your scalp, blood flow is going to your scalp. Hello, hair growth. You know what I mean? Very important to make sure your scalp is healthy. That's why I always encourage shampooing your hair like once a week at least. And I'm closing my eyes because some people really just don't shampoo their hair, and it makes me so sad. But I mean, people have their own methods. But for me, what I've learned is once I was open to using shampoo more, my hair has grown a lot more. Not me saying shampoo your hair every day. No. This is me saying, as someone with low porosity hair, we are more prone to buildup. This whole theory of like, the least you wash your hair, the better. No, baby girl, wash your hair. You gotta wash your hair, because since we're more prone to buildup, if we have more buildup on our hair and scalp, it's not gonna grow, because we're clogging up the pores on our scalp. Your hair is not gonna grow. So you always wanna make sure your scalp is clean, it is just healthy, it's happy. Happy scalp for me is a good shampoo sesh, like just getting in there and just scrub-a-dub-dubbing. For me, what works is using products with like stimulating oils in them, like I mentioned. Like the tea tree tingle will always be my bestie, because when I shampoo, you feel that stimulating feeling on the scalp. You'll always see me like gravitate towards products that have stimulating oils in them. But it's super important, just make sure you clean your scalp, make sure your scalp is healthy, and all of that. I do also do scalp massages from time to time. I like to just like give myself a nice little massage. It does also help with my migraines, so I do them often for that reason. But it's not something that I can say like, oh, because I do this, it's why my hair's growing. What I will say is that I've had more hair growth in the last 2 years than I have ever had in ever. And it's because I've had a regimen and a routine of making sure I shampoo my scalp. I work out a lot, so I sweat a lot. I talk about this a lot. If you're someone who works out and sweats, you are producing a lot of dirt and buildup, and it's just, you need to cleanse that scalp, girl. Just make sure you just cleanse it. And another tip that I feel has helped me a lot is increasing my water intake. Now, if you think of it this way, your scalp is skin. So what happens to your skin when you don't drink water? It gets dehydrated. So do you think your hair is actually going to flourish if your scalp is dehydrated? No. And I didn't think of it like that way. I really didn't. I didn't think of it as regular skin, because the skin on your scalp is skin. I wasn't thinking of it that way. And I noticed that I would produce more dandruff in the past than I do now. And I never understood why, but it makes sense. Water and staying hydrated is just the key to everything. You just can't go wrong with drinking water. So drinking more water, what I recommend personally, this is what I do what works best for you. I drink half of my body weight in ounces. So for example, if you weigh 150 pounds, I don't weigh 150 pounds. Girl, I don't even know how much I weigh, but I drink a gallon a day. That's not the ideal situation for everybody. I just personally have been on this journey of drinking a gallon a day, and it works best for me. Some people shouldn't drink that much because, if you're smaller, you probably shouldn't drink as much water. I'm a bigger girl, so I can handle that much water, and I've done it multiple times for multiple months, and I feel like I've had a great reaction from it. Ease your way into it. Don't just jump, like right off the jump, just do 128 ounces. You should start with half your body weight in ounces is what typically is suggested. Like I said, if you weigh 150 pounds, 75 ounces is perfectly fine for you. But yeah, honestly, I find that being hydrated all around has helped with my nail growth, my hair growth, my skin. Like, I just feel overall my energy levels, everything just got so much better. So drinking more water, having a better diet. I like to incorporate a lot of greens into my diet now, and I've been doing that for the last 2-3 years, and that's when I've seen the most hair growth ever. So what you put in is what you get out. I've always heard that. I don't have an exact vegetable that I'm like, you need to eat this every week to make sure you get this. I just have a balanced diet. But don't get me wrong, I have my fair share of, days where I shouldn't be eating certain things. Like, I'm not perfect, and I'm very aware of that. But I do drink and eat a lot of greens, and I make sure of that because I just, health is wealth. And with everything that's going on right now in the world, you want to make sure your immune system is up and it's on high alert, because ain't nobody got time to be getting sick. I mean, I know at some point it's going to be inevitable, but if I can avoid it as much as possible, I will. So I'm always eating like immune boosting foods to make sure that I'm good. And just doing that has helped with my hair growth as well. Another thing that I recommend when it comes to hair growth is kind of just leaving your hair alone. And what I mean by that is I don't typically do any like crazy hairstyles. My hair is either in a ponytail, a sleek low bun, which is not often, but sometimes. And if I do ponytails, they're super loose. Like, I don't even tighten the ponytail, or I just leave my hair out. Like, it's either that or I do a half up, half down, that of which it's not also tight. So I find that tension-free hairstyles for me have been also key, because I've noticed that when my hair is super tight in a hairstyle, not only do I get a headache, but I do feel that I am more prone to breakage, because when you tighten your hair back, you're kind of just pulling the hair back, and it can lead to breakage, which is why you'll see a lot of people complain about their edges because they do tight styles. But I don't often do them anymore because I find that that has been more of a con than a pro for me. If I do a sleek style, it's not all the time, so when I do it, it's fine. But for those who do sleek buns, like in my natural hair journey, that was like my go-to look. Like, it was my go-to look, just like a sleek bun, and that was my thing. But when I realized that it was causing me more harm than good, I was like, damn, like now I can't even do a bun. Just be careful with tension hairstyles, meaning like pulling your hair back and causing tension to your hair. You don't want to do that. Like, you don't want to do that. It's going to cause breakage, and it's going to lead to, stunting your hair growth. You don't want to do that. So just kind of leave your hair alone. I let my hair breathe. I let my hair do its thing. I also try not to manipulate it as much as possible. So I'll try to just do 1 wash day a week, sometimes 2 at most. But you won't catch me like washing my hair 4 or 5 times a week. Like, that's just, first of all, it's absurd. And second, like, my hair just doesn't like that. Some hair does, but 4, like 2 times is my cap. Like, I couldn't do 4. Like, my hair would just be like, Try to make my wash and goes just last as much as possible without having to rewash it and do a whole routine. My hair does like to be washed, but it also likes to be left alone. And that's what I've learned about it. It doesn't like to be bothered. It has a personality, a mind of its own, so I just kind of leave it alone. So if you're someone who has noticed that you do more tension hairstyles and you pull your hair back a lot, do a lot of tight braids, like do a lot of tight styles in general, maybe start to limit that, and you will definitely start to see your hair shift a bit. If you notice that your hair is thinning in the front areas, the bottom areas, or if you do like ponytails or pigtails or some type of style that way, that you might see like this area thinning more, definitely try to lean away from doing tension hairstyles. Like, don't be so tight on your hair. Kind of just start to loosen up your ponytails, your buns. Doesn't mean you can't do hairstyles. Like, you should be free to do hairstyles. There's no problem with that. Just make sure they're not super tight. Just make sure you're focusing on your scalp health. Again, everything leads back to scalp health. Try to protect your scalp as much as possible. So one more topic I want to tap into before I say my last pointer is I do not take hair growth supplements. I did at one point for like a month or so, but I noticed that it wasn't doing really good for my skin. My skin just wasn't reacting well. I tried hair growth supplements. It's not something that works best for me because typically it has biotin, and taking biotin orally for some reason just causes me to break out. So I limit that. And I don't take any hair growth supplements. I don't use particular hair products that, cause hair growth. You will see a lot of products on the market that will tell you, like, if you use this product, your hair will grow. There are some that are specific to hair growth, but I find that hair growth, first of all, is the ability to grow hair everyone has. But the quickness and the ability to grow it as quick, I find that it has a lot to do with genetics. And my genetics have a lot to do with why my hair grows so quickly. So, which is going to lead me to my last point. Don't compare your journey to anybody else's. You are stressing yourself out. When your body is in stress, it's not going to allow your hair to grow. It just stops a lot of processes in your body. And when I was in college, let me tell you, it sounds like it was so long ago, but it was literally like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I was in college. I find that my hair was like, it was in such a bad state. It was so, I find that it was just, I felt like I was losing a lot of hair more often. And I was a biology major. I mentioned this before. I wanted to go to dental school. That was like my thing. Like I was the pre-med track. So I was very stressed, like very, very stressed all the time. There was never like a moment where I was like, "Ooh, I could finally relax." No. There was no sense of relaxation at any point. So I know sometimes life can get hectic, and I know that not everyone has the ability to, take a minute and just go to yoga class, and they don't have the ability to, invest in a therapist. Like there are a lot of things that people don't have the ability to do, and I'm very much aware of that. So I'm not going to sit here and say, you got to do X, Y, and Z. No. But what you do have to do is try to control your stress as much as possible. Take some time to meditate, take some time to breathe, take some time to journal, take some time to get rid of your stress as much as possible. I know it's easier said than done. I know that sometimes life is just lifing and you have no control over your stress. But if you find ways to just zen yourself for a little bit, for me, it's just like taking a moment and breathing. I forget to breathe sometimes. When you take a deep breath, like a breath, and that was a quick one, you realize how often we forget to just breathe. And just breathing can change so much. Literally so much. It could change the way you react to something. It can change the way that you see a situation. It could change so much. I will say the point of this is just try to eliminate as much stress as possible. Try to do things like fitness, working out helps so much for me. This is why I work out. It is for the physical benefits, but it's also for the mental benefits. Like when I work out, I release so much stress. I release so much of my pent up energy that I just don't release any other way. I am literally like a squirrel, you guys know. Like I need to work out, and it's not even just, like I said, for aesthetics. It's more for my mental and well-being. My biggest tip to everyone who is trying to grow their hair out is to stop comparing yourself to other people and your journey to someone else's journey. Like I said earlier, hair growth has a lot to do with genetics. And for me, I can honestly say that genetics plays a huge role in why my hair grows so quickly. My mom has the ability to grow hair on her side of the family. My dad also has that ability as well. So it's just like I have a powerhouse of hair growth genes from both sides. These aren't tips that you guys are expecting. You guys want concrete, like tell me what to buy. This is what I want. This is typically what people want. But that's just not the reality. That's just not the reality. I'm not the only person to say that. You will see multiple influencers tell you the same exact thing. They can tell you, purchase this product, purchase that product. What I will say is, again, scalp stimulating oils are amazing. If you want to buy one from the store, I really love the rosemary and mint oil from Mielle Organics. I also like the Bomba Curls oil. It's a little thicker, but I do like it because it's very stimulating on my scalp. It has like the coffee scent that I love. Peppermint oil, you can use your own essential oils. If you do want to do essential oils, you have to make sure that you use a carrier oil. Coconut oil, you can use castor oil. You do want to use a thicker oil in addition to using an essential oil. You never want to add an essential oil directly to your scalp. That is the biggest no-no. That can cause so many burns and irritation on the scalp. You don't want to do that. So I find that if you want to buy products or something to just add to hair growth, it's definitely incorporating essential oils to your routine. So if you're going to be using an essential oil, make sure you have a carrier oil. I think I have a video on that, and if I don't, no, I definitely have a video on that. But yeah, guys, that's all for today's video. I hope it helped. I know that it's not the answer you're looking for. I know you guys want me to tell you to go buy X, Y, and Z, but I'm not going to lie to you guys and sit and tell you that I used this product and this is why it grew. these are just some tips that I honestly do on a daily basis and has worked best for me. I mean, my results show for themselves. I have cut my hair twice since my big chop, so comment down below what some of your hair growth tips are. I'm very curious. I know a lot of people do their own little remedies at home, and I'm very curious to see what you guys do, so go ahead and comment them down below. Yeah, guys, that's all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.